entrepreneur must be optimist in some way. Otherwise, it just nobody really can survive.
David, thank you for joining me and giving me your time.
Thank you, Michael. Nice to meet you.
How you doing? So you're talking to me from Dallas, from Austin, actually, right?
Yes, correct. How are you?
And you just moved here, you moved there before the corona started.
I actually in between. I caught the last flight from Israel to United States.
The
The last
last
Delta,
one.
the last one Delta flight. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's it's a good thing you got the last one. And how is it over there right now? Is it crazy?
Uh, it depends. It like everything is compared. We have some friends in New York and they are suffering really hard. And compared to
Oh yeah,
them, we are in pretty good situation right now. But
definitely. Okay. So the most important thing to note is that I'm speaking here to an optimist, which is great. I love that. And you consider yourself well versed in what it means to bring happiness to consumers. That's my little dog here, Benny, who might make an appearance. So we'll just let him set aside for a little bit before he gets us into trouble. And I'd love to sort of walk through a little bit about your history, your background, and how you got excited about this topic. And I would love to touch also a little bit on what it means to have a startup. You're the CEO of a startup in the travel space, in marketplace on the travel space, and it's pretty challenging times for these sorts of companies now. So maybe you can touch on that a little bit at the end. But
sure.
let's just get started. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
So my name is David. I was born in Russia. I immigrated to Israel when I was 12. Since 2016, I work a lot with US companies. I actually started my career at a company called NDS. I built various security solutions for digital TV. One of my projects were DirecTV, BSkyB, and some other big corporate clients. I moved to my own business, my own startups at 2010. And since that period, I had an experience working on different products from financial industry, advertising, and etc. I was part of NFX Guild Accelerator in Palo Alto 3 years ago, actually. Was co-founder of 3 startups, worked with many different other startups as well as Fortune 500 companies. I joined Stride a year ago, a bit more than a year ago. And right now we are in pretty interesting and challenging times,
Yeah,
but we do believe that we will create a serious impact for people when all this madness over, and people
definitely.
will definitely want to go to some great safari tours or some interesting experience in Himalaya or some amazing tours that they are like dreaming right now all the time, and we will help them to make it real soon.
As a company.
Yes,
Oh,
correct.
wonderful, wonderful. That's amazing. I went to Kilimanjaro a few months ago with my family as well as a safari, and it was one of the most extraordinary experiences that I've ever had. Tell me a little bit about yourself and why you consider yourself an optimist, and what makes you tick about bringing happiness to consumers.
So I worked a lot on B2B projects and different projects that didn't make me feel they helped me to get pretty good money on one side, and I also invested in some other startup as well. But it's not something that creates meaning in your life, and it doesn't provide any serious value. And you
Hmm.
really want to move forward. To build something that actually you want to wake up for and move yourself over. When I was a kid, I asked my mother, like, what does it mean being happy? And I got the following answer from her. Uh, when you wake up early in the morning, you are happy to go to work, and at the evening you are happy to go home. This was her definition of the happiness. I try to define it myself. I probably still working on this, and my wife always joking at me like, "Are you talking about happiness? You are still struggling to define it for yourself. Like, but how can you actually provide the happiness to other?" So try to first of all find it in yourself, and this kind of tip that I actually recommend to all other people, entrepreneurs, and just people who want to work in a great environment. First of all,
Yeah,
start from your personal life. Like, define what does it mean happiness for yourself. Like, is it
sure.
really something that matters to you at all? Like, can you take it from there? Just an example on myself. Like, what does it mean being happy for myself? It's spending time with people I like and people I love, my family, for example. I do like helping other as well. I highly believe in solidarity, and it's a great example right now in those crazy times that people share some food that they bought and some mask and helping each other. It's something that make huge impact. And on a personal level, integrity is something that's really important as well. Those are my points, my metrics. When you go to your job, for example, what matters to you? Like, what kind of people you would like to work with? I can give an example. I personally like working with people who are doers, who are actually can deliver something. I do want to be in a supporting environment, people who help each other and don't blame each other like this is your fault, and etc. etc. It's really important that people respect each other as well. It's critical to have really great relationships in a company as well. And the entrepreneur mindset, it's something that also makes me happy. And when we are moving the same pattern to product, what do you like about your product? Like,
Right.
great user experience, right? You do want that the product you're using or making share some common values with you. So like, the product must be aligned with your values that you believe in. And if it's something that you don't believe, you will never use it, right?
Right.
And on another part, when you build a product, you want real to fans. And when you make like a significant impact, you will have those fans, and they have some feelings about your product. And let's say you release something they didn't like, they respond, "Listen, we didn't like this and we didn't like that, but we really want this back," and so on. So they will try to convince you that this type of product needs to be updated or changed, and so on. The worst part for any product is people who don't really care about it at all. Like, this product is indifferent to me. Like, today you're a hero, that's fine. We are fighting on just a price, and that's it. And tomorrow someone else will just improve their supply chain and reduce some pricing costs, and there is no product at all. Like, and your company just goes away.
Right.
And those kind of things that really matter, I highly recommend for any person who is involved in product building, product definition. First of all, start from your life, move to your work definition, and then move to product. And by this, you can actually define all the process yourself.
No, that makes
Uh,
a lot of sense. And so I do agree on a lot of points here. And I think that this idea of resilience and what allows you to keep going, and even when the going gets rough, and having those users aligned with your core values, and when your product shares those core values, then the users are not just buying your product, but they're all of a sudden becoming champions of it, and they feel personally attached to it. And you actually, I did a little bit of research before, and I think you have a pretty interesting story of a bicycle accident, right? Did I see correct?
yeah.
And you broke both your hands, and you managed to still do something interesting while breaking both of your hands.
Yeah, it's an old story, but I had some accident and I was in some like crazy situation 7, 8 years ago actually. Yeah, and I had to recover myself personally, financially, and just everywhere. And it was a very challenging situation. One person that probably really helped me to move over this situation was my wife, and she actually helped me, and she was extremely supportive during this period of time. And you always need this person. Some other people that I got all the inspiration from were people that were around me, and they actually helped me to move forward. And it's pretty important situation. And
And you actually during that time you learned Ruby on Rails, right?
not exactly. I actually had previously experience with Ruby on Rails. I think it was version 1.8 at NDS that time, and I started checking what's going on the market right now. Where can I go next? Like, what should I do? I had like very serious bicycle accident. I should move over. I wasn't able really to write a code at that time because I was fully disabled. And I said, okay, I know that Ruby on Rails has like a very serious impact on many startups at that time.
Right.
And Basecamp was developed during this period, and some other great startups. And I said, like, I have to move with this software. This software actually helps a lot of developers just to build great stuff, and I can move forward. I started learning just by doing. And at the same time, the demand just became very high, and I started helping other startups and move forward from this period. Yeah,
And so
I
you became a consultant on Ruby on
I
Rails,
I
right?
I also did some consulting, not only for startups, but I worked with a company like Conduit
Mm-hmm.
uh, and some other big companies as well. I worked with Gartner in New York and PricewaterhouseCoopers in San Francisco, and so
Sure.
on. So I actually had startup experience as well as Fortune 500 as well.
So tell me a little bit about Stride and what are some of the core values that you have over there that are, aligned with yours that bring happiness to users.
First of all, being in the travel industry is a great thing to deal with, right? It's something that you always like to travel, unless you prefer sitting on your couch and just
Yeah.
watch TV or Netflix or whatever. But most people do like traveling, especially in those crazy times. So I'm very aligned with the major goal, helping people to find exactly where they can go right now, what type of experience they can get in various places around the world, not only just on the next street or just around you, but all over. And this is
Yep.
something that we are trying to achieve by helping people to move all around, get to know many different gems around the world, and move forward. And this is probably the most interesting part in Stride that we are working on right now.
And so what is it like being a CTO of an upcoming startup and all of a sudden Corona breaks out?
Good question. It's challenging. Listen, there are always ups and downs, and it highly depends if you have enough time with your cash on a personal level as well as on a company level.
Yeah.
And you sometimes you have to make immediate decisions, like some people you have to lay out or fire, or just pause some projects, specifically concentrate on cash. It's probably the most important one. uh, Measure everything you're doing many times a day, starting from planning. uh, is the thing that you're working right now really matters to you or and to your customers? Will this something that will make a change in the upcoming months? How people actually gonna spend their time on travel after the coronavirus pass? Will they actually travel abroad, or they try to stay around? So there are a lot of questions that we are trying to answer right now, and I assume that nobody actually knows the true answer.
Definitely. Right.
But we will see. It's an interesting time. It's an interesting challenge, and
And
we
you
are here
mentioned,
to make it work. And I'm optimistic by my nature, because being a pessimistic doesn't provide any value, and you need some like personal balance in your life just to move forward, and it's
right.
something that pretty important.
How important is it, do you think, to be an optimist in a leadership team, whether it's a startup or a big company, rather than being the pessimist or the realist that is always, trying to give the bad side to things? Because there are balancing personalities that I would find useful also in our leadership team.
Correct. So sometimes you see being too optimistic is not always good. Like you're trying to oversell yourself too much. You're trying to bring too much promises without actually providing any value, and it's not good. At some point, it just creates a negative impact. On the other side, you always should be more optimistic than realist or pessimist. I don't know, and be prepared, because the future is bright, and we wanna go to something happy, and dealing with something that doesn't really matter at all. It doesn't provide any motivation, neither to you
Right,
nor to your team, and it doesn't provide like any serious value. And I think
right,
every entrepreneur must be optimist in some way. Otherwise, it just nobody really can survive it. And when I'm a startup founder, I wake up every morning. I decide this is the experiment that I'm gonna do today. At the end of the day, this experiment will fail, and next morning I have to wake up with the same attitude that I'm gonna make experiment number two, and this experiment may fail as well, but this startup life, and it's crucial for you to survive this kind of trial and error routine, and being optimistic is a must-have.
and how do you then delegate that happiness and optimism to the people that work under you as a CTO? Because you're not necessarily the one who's writing all the code, and a lot of the times you have to also put on this product hat, and you have to bring a lot of that down, top down for the team. So what are some of the ways that you do that?
Great question. So you really need to split your stories into like small chunks, small tasks, and this actually helps to deliver faster, and make frequent delivers actually helps the team move forward. And
Right,
this type of development mindset actually helps a lot, because let's say if you decide on building a product with huge amount of features and a big list of requirements and so on, nobody really can deliver it. But if you just split it into small chunks of requirements, and every time you build something, you deliver it, you test it immediately, you get an impact, and so on. This actually
definitely.
helps people who works with you move forward, and see the real impact. And every line of code should have an impact. If the line, nobody writes code just like as beautiful code, it really doesn't matter. Like seriously,
Right,
sometimes you just have to realize, will people actually enjoy having this situation? It doesn't matter if you work on a client right now, or you are building some back office. Just put on your head um, the same person, and try to do the same process. Doesn't
definitely.
make you happy just using this project. It's something that I always request from developers. Just try to use it yourself. Like, will you actually use it? Like, literally. And you don't need the designer, you don't need the user experience guy and so on. Just be the user yourself.
Definitely, definitely. So our 20 minutes is coming up, but I'd love to ask you the final question, and it's putting you a little bit on the spot, but what are 3 words that you would best describe you as? I already know at least one of them, but what are the 3 that you would best describe yourself as?
Optimist is one of those. Uh, I like helping people is the second one, and I'm entrepreneur,
I
like
love it.
traveling and move forward.
That's really, really great. David, thank you very, very much. This
Thank
was
you.
great. Great. Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Bye bye.